I must confess that even though I was fascinated by the Semi-Tarrasch defense for a long time, ever since I was a kid, mainly because it was a part of the repertoire of some of my heroes, Fischer, Korchnoi, Portisch. I didn't quite understand what is it all about. I mean, it looked as if Black played a very speculative opening, which only works against a certain move order from White. But of course, this was caused by my lack of culture. When I learned a little bit of the openings, I understood that it can serve well for many purposes. First of all, for the Nimzo Indian players, of course, Knight C3, Bishop B4 is everybody's dream when they play E6 on the second move, meaning that a complex strategic and dynamic fight is there. But against Knight F3, Black's possibilities for counterplay are not so simple. Some play the Queen's Indian, some the Bogo Indian, or even C5, the Benonis with a knight on F3. So D5 is just one more such variation in which Black can counter-react in this way. So first we can consider the Semi-Tarrasch as a complement, as a perfect complement to the Nimzo Indian. There is actually one more thing. Let's take the Queen's Gambit. There, personally, the way I see the current theory now, there are two main things disturbing Black. I mean, disturbing just in principle. If White plays Bishop G5, then things are somehow nice. Black can try such active systems like the Tartakova, with counterplay, with interesting play for both sides. But there are two lines which somehow burn down the enthusiasm. Knight F3, the Bishop F4 system is well, theoretically sound, theoretically okay for Black, but still it leads to some positions where only White can try putting some pressure, and there is nothing like hanging pawns, Tartakova. Black should just try to equalize, either by giving up the center or by blocking somehow with C6. But it's another way of playing, which does not suit well with Tartakova spirit, let's say. It's a good thing that White cannot play Bishop F4 at once because of C5. And if DC, then Bishop takes C5. It just wins a tempo for Black, who normally takes on C5 with the Bishop coming from E7. So for this purpose, Knight F3 is necessary. So now, instead of playing Bishop E7 or Knight B7 and expose ourselves to Bishop F4, we could, of course, get this interesting opening. And finally, if we are speaking about the Queen's Gambit declined, the second source of worry is the exchange variation. Well, personally, I'm more okay with that. Actually, I don't mind playing it with Black, but at the same time, I can understand that some player would not feel comfortable with fixed structures. So once again, the Semi-Tarrasch comes to help. White can of course transpose with Knight F3, C5, or playing Knight F3 at some moment he would transpose to normal Semi-Tarrasch positions. In the last few videos, I have examined some ways in which White can allow the typical structure. Actually, he cannot avoid it. The knights are here, so this is already clear similarity with the Semi-Tarrasch. So White can avoid the genuine Semi-Tarrasch, but Black should be doing fine in every case. So Already we have a wide range of useful situations, with situations when the Semi-Tarrasch should come in handy. We can also mention some symmetrical English lines where play can transpose to, for instance, here, in order to threaten e5, white usually plays knight c7, which is an important system, but there is nothing wrong with e6, which actually more or less forces a transposition to the Semi-Tarrasch. If white doesn't take on d5 followed by d4, or doesn't play d4, now he doesn't really have big chances for anything. So this would be again Semi-Tarrasch tabia. And actually there are many English variations which can transpose here. There is also another interesting aspect. Some of the lines examined are very, very similar or even precise transpositions from the Queen's Indian. I will not show those lines here. You will find them in the text. It's either from the Rook e1 fianchetto line, where the transposition is only partial, or from the A3 Petrosian-Kasparov system from the Queen's Indian. So we can see that actually the Semi-Tarrasch is placed somewhere at the crossroads of many important openings. What would I say about the character of the fight here? It's a dynamic opening. The center is under tension, and it leads to interesting play. It's flexible from both sides' point of view. Both players can deviate in many ways. For this DVD, I have chosen just one. Mostly, I have chosen just one variation for black against each white system. Sometimes I have given alternatives, but it is not the rule. And there are two main groups of structures I have examined. I can illustrate them starting from this position. This is the Semi-Tarrasch Isolani. As usual in the Isolani structure, black gets easy development. He can bring his pieces in the center, bishop on e6 or e4 or g4, rooks on e8 and d8, the queen somewhere there, d7 or e7, which is very nice. But there comes a moment when black reaches a maximum of let's say mobilization, and then it's very important that he takes the right decision, either to break the center, to make a sacrifice, to undertake something active and concrete which would change the character of the position, for instance equalizing or taking over the initiative, or to decide which is the piece which is not under the given circumstances at the right moment, which is the piece which could get onto an even better square. So for this, one has to have some special feeling. The other kind of structure is rising, let's say here, after e4, knight c3, bc3, with or without the exchange on d4. In this position, I have only analyzed c takes d4, but in other variations with similar structure, it may be better to delay the exchange. In these lines, abstractly, the situation is opposed as in the previous one. It is white who, helped by his center, can get full mobilization of his pieces, but then if he doesn't find the right way of getting some concrete initiative or advantage, then it would be black who could would continue to improve his position until not only equalizing but even taking over the initiative himself. So we cannot say that it's a one-sided opening, even though I have restricted somehow the possible structures to just two basic ones. Even so, the repertoire features two main approaches. I should still mention that I haven't covered the move e3, which actually transposes to the e3 Tarrasch. It's another opening. In the database there will be some examples which suggest a normal development for black, but the Semi-Tarrasch actually starts with this position. So I don't want to interfere with other DVDs on the Tarrasch, or I just wanted to stay in our Semi-Tarrasch territory. So after these few specifications, I think it is time to start enjoying together this interesting opening.